You know, it's interesting when you watch the start of the previous B race. Barbara was completely in the grass when Colt Wade's pole-sitting Corvette backed up a little bit, and Barbara just said, I'm not lifting, I'm going for it. And here we go. Cars are coming down. Chin on the pole.
Here we go, Grid Life Touring Cup Race 3B from Lime Rock Park in Grid Life Circuit Legends. Time to go racing one more time this afternoon. Green flag, and we're underway at Lime Rock Park.
Look at Jensen. He used the power. That's a V8 that's been jammed into that car, and he used that torque to really make a nice start, move up a few spots, jumps into second. Zach Lavoie, good start as well, up into third.
Yeah, Jason Wynn was out of line there in that red and white FRS. He fell out of line. Kevin Zhu has a look at the inside of Kevin Bandy. Brian Leonard, big dodge and weave to try to miss Zach Lavoie.
Yeah, that was a heck of a moment, and he just had to bail completely there. And Zhu taking advantage, just sweeping the outside. And is he going to be able to clear him? He does. So Zhu should be pretty well set as they make the run up the hill. But all of that jockeying, look what Lena Chin has been able to do. She's taken advantage and opened up a big margin already.
Yeah, and she has to run because Eric Jensen is going to be capable, I think, of running her back down. And not to mention Zach Lavoie and Kevin Zhu and even Brian Leonard with that Chase Base 337.86. He's right in that mix.
Well, Zhu has been just flying this entire weekend. And one of the things he's doing, you know, he was really upset that he ended up with that dyno issue. And he came up, you know, he said the reason we think we haven't figured out because it caught us by surprise. But he's one of the guys who has taken full advantage of the technology, if you will, of running a prominently right-hand clad. He's got wedge in that car. He's made all kinds of suspension adjustments to get it to really turn into the right-handers. And, you know, there's 6 of them here and only 1 left.
Big move there for Kevin Zhu on the outside of Zach Lavoie at the right-hander, leading onto the Paul Newman straight, so he moves up to 3rd place. But how fast he was yesterday, despite the penalty that he had from the dyno disqualification, he's got pace, and he's already caught Eric Jensen.
Yeah, he's right there, and you can see as they come through this really quick turn here, working their way through at this stage. You can see the cars, you know, they push on entry a little bit, and then sometimes you'll get a little oversteer on the exit. It's a real balancing act up there, and then it's that plummet down the diving turn, and Zhu looks to the inside.
Here he comes, and this is a big lunge here for the Honda Civic, and he's going to get right past Eric Jensen. Can he outbrake him? Look at the background, Brian Leonard on Zach Lavoie, so 2nd and 4th changing hands here as Leonard charges through and squeezes past the number 42 of Zach Lavoie.
Yeah, one of the things you can see there, as well as Zhu making the move on Jensen. Big rotation for Zhu at the back there, but Jensen left him, you know, almost 2 car widths, including Zhu's, going into 1, and that's just a little bit too much, and Zhu able to easily take advantage of that. And so that's going to be something that Jensen will be thinking about here in the future. Up the hill we go. The margin right now, almost 3 seconds. While all that dueling's been going on, Lena has just dropped everybody at this stage. The question is, what happens now that Zhu's up in a second?
FRS versus FRS for 3rd and 4th at the moment. Jensen's got an LS under the hood of that FRS, and Brian Leonard has a Honda K24. So neither of those cars are running the native engine of that chassis as Lena Chin leads the way, but for how long? These are long races here, and she's got to hold back a quick Kevin Zhu.
Yeah, she just turned a 59.8, so best lap of the race right now. And the thing is, you've got to, when you're on a track like this with predominantly right-handers, you've got to take care, she's in a rear-drive car, you've got to take care of that left rear a little bit. And that's going to be her mission now. She's got the margin, and she might just want to soft pedal it a little bit, just make sure that right rear has some life in it. You can see catching almost a little air up and over that uphill turn.
Through West Bend here. I was watching Brian Leonard in that 37. He was clobbering the West Bend curve to try to get rotation in that car. And Greg, that tells me that he might be struggling with some understeer there. If you're up on top of that curve, you're trying to induce oversteer just to get the thing to rotate. But he is on the heels of Eric Jensen on the front straight.
Yeah, he's really pressuring. And that's one of the things you can do, like you said, with a front-wheel drive car, if you've got push, is you turn in and you just make sure the front misses the curb and the back catches it, and that'll just kick that back out just a little bit. and that's actually not a front drive car, is it?
No.
That's the side, but it still works. If you've got that push, just miss the curb with the front tires, tap it with the back, it'll skip the back end around, and then you just straighten the wheel out and go. Man, he is attacking on Jensen right now.
He is, but watch the torque from the V8 extend that gap just a few feet. It's a great defensive measure to have some torque under the hood there for Jensen, but I don't know that he's quicker than Brian Leonard right now. Into the uphill. This is where Brian's car into West Bend has struggled a little, but he's going to pop out of line here, Greg. Side by side into West Bend.
Just wants that overlap, uses that curve to perfection. Jensen again giving him plenty of room, and Leonard is through.
Maybe he saw the writing on the wall there and made that easier than he would have had to, but also keeping an eye on the battle behind them as Leonard goes defensive on the front stretch. Thomas Moss and Jason Wynn, another FRS, by the way, the red and white car here, as they run side by side towards the first corner, almost side by side.
Good scrap with those, and BMW right in the mix as well. But that's a late lunge down to the inside.
Thomas Moss left space.
Yeah, lots of space.
And Wynn will take advantage of it, and through he goes, and Eddie Mikado smells blood in the water here.
Yeah, ooh, and right there you can see drop those tires just a little bit, and Nakata will be looking at that going, all right, he's really on a knife's edge here. Just keep heaping the pressure on, see if we can get another little mistake and I can sneak through. That's part of the racing game. It's not just always, being outright fast. Sometimes it's just hustle the driver in front of you into that little error that lets you sneak through. That's all part of the game. And Zoo, as we suspected, got clear of everybody. Resets fast lap at a 58.9, so he is up on it a bit here now.
And there's lots of time left in this race and some lap traffic that Lena Chin has begun to dispatch. So Kevin Zhu, let's see how much ground he makes up. Still 3.5 back, but it's not out of it yet. And Brian Leonard and Jensen both running the quickest laps of the race.
Yeah, it's interesting. And of course, while they were dueling, that allowed Zhu to build up about a 3-second margin back to those guys. So he doesn't have to worry about anybody behind him. And as the old saying goes, he can tilt those mirrors down and just get after trying to catch that group up front.
Kevin Bandy and Zach Lavoie nose to tail here. This is for 5th place. We did some content on Kevin Bandy at Carolina Motorsports Park, all about his first experience racing in GLTC and just pushing, getting the confidence to move forward and stay flat through the kink there. But he's going to have the confidence to go flat alongside Zach Lavoie because that fight's about to brew.
Well, he's proven to be a pretty quick study, hasn't he? He really has adapted well here. And that number 120, we've seen that a couple of times. That's Cindy Picot, and she's a newbie to this championship. And, when you haven't done any driving in this category before, there's some awfully fast drivers here. And she's just sort of finding her way right now. And one thing she's done incredibly well is when she's in a spot where you shouldn't try and help somebody passing you, she drives her line. When she can get out of the way a little bit, she's been brilliant at that. And that's part of the game, too.
And this is a small racetrack, so we had to deal with a lot more lap traffic, more today than we have all season prior to this. And that you would have laughed at me if I said we'd have lap traffic at Road America because the track's so big and the races are so short. So it's something we don't deal with a lot in GLTC. But the drivers have been doing a very nice job. I noticed Sue lost some time to Chin last lap, contending with that traffic, but gives Sue a few laps to stitch them together.
That's going to be the key. Is as the old saying goes, traffic giveth and traffic taketh away. And sometimes you can plan for it, but sometimes it's just random luck when you catch it. And that purple ASM car right there, that is not the normal ride that Zach Lavoie gives, but man, he's been giving it a ride here, even though it's probably not the best car as it's set up right now for GLTC.
Kevin Zhu, fastest lap of the race. Leonard and Jensen both picked up. Lavoie on defense. Here comes Bandy to the outside on the brakes. Very different builds between these cars. Little wiggle for Bandy into the Big Bend corner.
Just trying to run that little wider line. Sometimes you can do that and actually carry a little bit more speed as long as you know that there's some grip out there. Remember, that Big Bend, everybody thinks of it as like a long hairpin. It's more than 180. It's about 200 degrees as it comes back. And so right as you think, okay, it should be opening up, it doesn't. And if you've turned in early to that second part, you're in trouble at the exit.
A lot of these corners, you're sort of cheated into turning early sometimes. You don't need to do it, you don't want to do it, but the corners are in such a way that you feel like you should turn in, but you have to wait and be patient for it. Because the compression and how much the weight of the car changes as you come over these crests and down into the downhill corners. There's so much dynamicism in the way the car is settling into the pavement. It changes your trajectory even without changing your steering.
Yeah, it does. And that diving turn, if you turn in too early as you come down that, you're in a heap of trouble at the exit. At the very best, you're going to be really slow because you had to get out of it so much. And at worst, you're just going to go straight off. So, you know, that's one where, like you said, every instinct is saying, oh my God, that won't turn. And you just got to wait now and use that compression to help you launch around that corner.
Kevin Bandy had his crosshairs trained on the back of Zach Lavoie, but now Jason Wynn has crosshairs trained on him. So it's kind of dog-eat-dog here, isn't it? And look at this into turn one. This is a mess.
That is great. Wow, I'll tell you what, everybody negotiated that just beautifully, but for a minute there, it looked like it could have really been trouble.
Yeah, one of those cars is Nick Fuller in the 25. Jose Santa Cruz is in this mix as well. And Wasilko is out there as well in that MX-5, the 08. And Patrick Huxley in the 179 right behind. They were in a scrum of their own back there, and that's a battle for roughly 18th, 19th place in the B race. This is deep in the 60-car field.
And it's fierce. It is absolutely fierce, and that's one of the things we love. Look at this here, as Bandy feeling the pressure. He's basically in an ASM sandwich, and that's never comfortable.
No, it's not. And man, Jason Wynn committed big time in the brakes, but not enough. And look at Bandy. You're all over Lavoie now again.
Yeah, and you see, he just overcharged that entry just a little bit, and then he had to get out of it. And we've talked about this ad nauseum here, but it's so true. It's such a momentum track that if you have something like that happen where you've got to breathe out of the throttle mid-corner, you just lose that head of steam, and it can take you a while to get it back up. He did it. Ooh, see the wiggle there? He did a nice job of it not being overly costly, but you can see how hard they're pushing that uphill. Man, it's so abrupt when it flattens out. If you don't have that car straightened out, you get those little wiggles, and they get your heart rate pumping.
Sure will. 3.3 seconds between the two leaders. And again, Lavoie takes the middle of the road. That's defense. You're allowed to do that. You just can't move in reaction to the trailing car. And Bandy again, wide berth into turn one, but that's leaving him vulnerable to Jason Wynn. And if Jason's able to get overlap, he'll have a run past Bandy, I feel, into Big Bend, but he's got to get to the quarter panel of that MX-5.
Yeah, that's the thing. He's got to get a little bit better run on that downhill so that when Bandy goes out, he can just go straight to the apex underneath him. But there is a rule. You can, overlap that has been, attained, I guess, reasonably, you have to honor. But if you're coming from so far back that nobody would ever expect you to be making the move, then that's on you. And so you've got to judge those things just a little bit. And right now, Wynn has been doing a nice job because he looks at it and goes, I'm just a little too far back. I can't legitimately say that was a makeable pass, and he's not trying to force the issue, and lots of credit there. Look at this here. This Jensen trying to go back after Leonard here.
He's only got a lap to do it. White flag is out. This will be the final time around Lime Rock Park for race 3B. And Ryan Leonard has his mirrors full of Eric Jensen once more. These two battled earlier. They will continue to on this final lap of this race.
I'll tell you what, right now, the difference between Zoo's fast lap and Chin's fast lap, literally a tenth of a second. They are so close. And Lena has done a brilliant job, like I said, protecting that left rear. And whenever Zoo throws in a time, Lena's able to match it, even improved it by a tenth on this lap.
Well, Lena Chin, after getting bumped to the B group after failing post-race tech last time out, she is going to go back to victory lane. Grid Life Touring Cup Race 3B. Lena Chin wins it here at Lime Rock Park.
And she had a drive last year where she came from deep in the B field after a mechanical issue and came to the front and won it.